Night has finally fallen on the 16th, and it's been a long day of battle. Lots of things happening. So let's just sweep round the field. I'm actually looking from the other side of the ball today, as the battle has come this way quite substantially. In fact, I think we'll start from the end here and give you a bit of an overview. You can see how things have developed. Okay, so there's the entire battlefield. We're viewing this from the north. We can see the Russians and the Prussians heavily engaged with the French here and here. We can see a bit of a standoff over here, but still a lot of fighting going around in this area here. And the Austrians have had a nightmare down here. Okay, just everything that could go wrong has gone wrong there. So let's start in the north and see what's been going on here. So there's been two parts of the fight at the north. The Russians and the Prussians are pushing on here. We've got the new corps that's arrived, didn't really arrive in time to do much, is trying to push through the woods here, put pressure on the demoralised young guard there. That's been going quite well. I mean, the French have, though it's been cleared quite a bit now, had a lot of infantry down in this area here. So the only way you could get the gun advantage, bring the guns right up, which means they've been within sort of musket range. So the Allies have lost a little bit there, but definitely still going in the Allies' favour here, really. I mean, this force here is crumbling quite quickly. It's going to be a real concern for tomorrow. That's what the French can do there. The French's idea was they had quite a large cavalry force, so they've been bringing this around here, hoping to put some pressure on here. Now, this force here, which was 2nd Cavalry Corps, has just taken longer to get than I imagined. They had to funnel through this area here, so they haven't really had much of an impact. It has been relatively successful, but the bringing up of the Russian guns here have blunted this quite a bit, really. So though in time, that I think they will get the advantage, I think the problem's going to be down here, and whether this can come and cause enough sufficient problems over in this area to really upset this Allied advance across here, I'm unsure. I mean, we'll keep pushing away at it. The problem we have is there is some infantry here that the idea is once this is disrupted enough, these can come and push on, but it looks like these guys are going to have to start filling in the holes in the main line there. So that's not worked out so great for the French, but they had to do something. Couldn't just sit there and just let them be beaten. Here, however, the French came out. I hummed and hawed for ages about whether to do this French, and they have just washed away on this side. The problem is the Austrians were either side of the road and this dip here, which has made reinforcing one side or the other. The French came out very quickly on this side, drove a little bit lucky maybe, taking the Austrian horse out so early on. But they're now, both these units down here were routed. They've routed most of the units down here. Got one guy there. The guns have come around and started pounding, but we've got the French guns here as well. They've just managed to force these guys back. So there's a bit of an isolated gun here, but there's not a lot to take that on board. So anyway, the long and short of it is that the French line of communications clear, which is going to be needed as the French collapse around Leipzig. Did bring in the end, we did bring the garrison troops here, because I wasn't too sure how this was going to go, but it seems to be going fine at the moment. But the garrison's just been holding on here. That's what's been going on there. So that's been a success for the French. Okay, at least it should cover their lines of retreat. Just have a look over there in the north, and you can see quite intense battle going on over there. Now, along the main line over here, if I step back so we can have a general overview of it, the big push has come here and here in the middle. Okay, not an awful lot going here, but they've just established a huge gun line up here. It's taken a while to get the guns, pull the guns up there. Got a large cavalry reserve here, which is in reasonably good condition. So let's have a look what's happened over here. Okay, so pushed the hole through the Konowitz, okay, which is allowing now for the artillery to come through. Okay, and this is beginning to take a toll. The Young Guard have lost one artillery unit. We've got another one there diminished. Pushing back here. So the French have got a problem here. There's a bit of a hole. I mean, these guys are still there and they're still relatively good, but they are demoralised. So they're on 7 morale. You know, they lose a casualty in a fight, puts them to a 6 morale check. They're not going to hold for very long. The French have been trying to just maintain their line, but you can see units streaming back. I think if the French lose a few more guns, it's going to be very problematic for them to hold, to know what to do. They might even have to fall all the way back to the town here to stand any chance of holding, but we'll see. In the middle, there was quite a strong charge of these Prussian units, which did sort of bash a hole in the middle there, but they haven't got a lot further. Again, very tired, fatigued. I mean, everyone is just sort of gasping their last, really. The idea was trying to make a big enough hole to maybe bring the cavalry through, start going around here with these demoralised guys, disorganised guys, and seeing what damage they can be caused. The only reserve left for the French, the old guard there, which might be called on. Well, they will be called on at some point. Here you can see that these have ignored the town for a while. I think the Allies think they can probably just isolate that and the French have to pull back. Over here we can see that this gun line, the guns have just come up. There's another gun underneath there. There's one there. I think there's another one back here. So there's a huge Russian battery there. And there's no way the French can hold against that, really. So it's a case of them falling back. So night has fallen. Oh yeah, finally on the end here, like I say, there were some French spoiling attacks with the cavalry, but it's the same old story without anything to back it up. You know, there's no infantry that was available to go over there. There's definitely no artillery apart from a little bit of horse artillery. So the Austrians have sort of seen those off, really, and are now marching on. So night time, I think as much as Napoleon needs to rest his troops, I think there's going to have to be some movement. There's going to have to be some movement because it doesn't seem a defensible line at the moment. I'm not too sure how far to pull back. If we have a look at the reinforcements for tomorrow, okay, so tomorrow morning we'll get our last French corps coming on. Okay, and that's going to come from this area here. Okay, it's not a very strong corps, but it's coming on. And the Allies have an Austrian corps coming on, but most of their reinforcements coming on the 18th. So it's a case of, I mean, historically there wasn't a lot of fighting on the 17th. Okay, Napoleon tried to get a ceasefire, tried to sue for peace, you know, tried to get some way of ending the battle, but the Allies were having none of that. Very possibly I won't do a lot tomorrow either with the Allies, not with so many forces coming on, not with so many forces coming on at all, because as much as I've got a clear advantage here, particularly here, I think with all those extra corps coming on, why risk it? Why not just wait for the 18th and then completely overwhelm the French? Because I don't think there's an awful lot the French can do. I don't think there's anything the Allies can do down here. So that's where we're up to. So I need to think seriously about that. But it's been a long day's battle. I was looking at some of the videos I made earlier in the day, and we can see that the battle started over here. And I think if we look at compare this to the historical situation, I'm obviously no Napoleon because I haven't done as well as Napoleon has. I think the French are pushed back further than they were historically. The problem the French are going to have, of all things, is the lack or just the artillery that the Allies have. The French have lost a lot of artillery. The Allies have been sort of targeting it and getting at it when they can, especially using their cavalry if they can get around the side. They've obviously had a lot more room to manoeuvre a lot of the battle than the French have so far. So I think that might be the telling blow. So The possibility of France, of Napoleon winning this battle is almost zero. However, I think a draw is still possible, or at least that's what we're going to try for. So the victory conditions is demoralising a number of each other's formations. Okay, and obviously we know the French have already got 3 demoralised, and it's going to be tricky to hold on to the others, but I think that's the policy we're going to look at. So I'm tempted to think of a substantial withdrawal, just to stop, you know, trying to preserve the army. The battle's lost, let's try and preserve the army. So maybe I will collapse the line quicker than I would normally. Maybe it is a time to this area here, support here, start sending units across here, or at least allow all the routed units to whiz across there. Make sure we finish off the Austrians here, so we have a clear path down here to hold on to, and you know, and see what we can do. I mean, the problem with making it too narrow defence, you could say, well, why don't we just pull them all back here and defend this causeway, you know, which is you know, could be a legitimate strategy, I guess. Maybe we will have to do that. However, the problem is you start getting routed units, or you get demoralised, disorganised units, and they fall back on the other troops, and you get this cascade effect. So if the only way that would work is, you know, defending it right down here, but you know, just one success, they move back, the Allies move on. You know, within a turn or two, they've just opened it up, and out they're going to pour. I think that's how it's going to work. So, looking at the defensive positions for the French, I think we're going to have to use these buildings. I mean, the thing is, you can't set up cannons in the towns, in the villages, which is fine. They haven't got that many cannon anyway. And obviously the cavalry aren't that great. So anyway, we're going to think about that. That's an idea that we're looking at. I think at the moment, yeah, I think at the moment the Allies might not do a lot tomorrow. We might push here a little bit, keep these guys on their toes, but I don't think there's much we can do here unless we can get this cannonade, you know, this cannon barrage going on there. Wait for overwhelming reinforcements and then try and smash it. Try and smash Napoleon's forces. And I think as Napoleon, I might fall back further to some more defensive position using the rivers and the towns around Leipzig. A little bit earlier than I wanted to go, but if I'm going to try, and if Napoleon's going to try and get a draw out of this at least, I can't leave units to be just destroyed in the open, which is what's slowly happening. I mean, to the young guard here, slowly getting destroyed. All these units are just slowly you know, well, not so slowly, these units are being destroyed here. Let's try and give their cannon difficult targets. Anyway, the night of the 16th, it has begun.